Hey guys, it's Space Sims, and we are back with more 9-Rip continuing Sena's route. And I know I cock-blocked us a little in the last part, but that's because we were going, I think it was only like 14 to 15 minutes over. It wasn't quite 20, but whatever. It was still a lot over, so we stopped it. And now watch, as we start recording this, it'll be 2 lines, and then we'll actually have a transition. But if I had stayed recording, it would take another 20 minutes to finish it, so whatever. Anyway, Sena, where's the girl? Oh, in case you didn't remember from the last part, we were hiding in the mirror world. We were in the mirror world so we could see Sena, and then we ran away because Hibiki was getting a little stalkerish and creepy. And now Sena slipped out to go talk to Hibiki, and there you go. Sena, where's the girl? I was looking for you too. I think it's time for you to go. His voice sounded the same. It was like the Hibiki I'd talked to before. Yet it seemed almost too calm, which only made me feel even more scared. Right. Can't ever stay too long. Well, don't worry, she just left. Thanks for giving us the chance to meet, Hibiki. I really appreciate it. The silence hurt my ears. The fact that I couldn't see his face only made it more frightening. I had no idea how Hibiki had taken the answer Sena had given him. I'll be heading back too. I think there are fans that are going to be coming to the park. Hey, I know. How about you come along to the park with me, Hibiki? I know you don't really like going out, but it'll be okay if you're with me, right? I'll even sing you a song as a thank you. Sena. He was doing an excellent job of trying to pull Hibiki away from me. I gulped and prepared myself to leave at any moment. Still, I was scared by the prospect of trying to flee here by myself. At the same time, I didn't want to waste the chance Sena had made for me. Yes, that sounds like a wonderful idea. But I'm afraid I'll have to decline. Something else here has caught my attention. Oh! She's in there, isn't she? Slowly, ever so slowly, slender fingers began sliding through the door. I'm sorry! You said that the school ghost stories route was the creepiest? Like, I know we know Hibiki, but, like, this is just creepier than them. They're like, no. I know the wraith's jumping in front of you or whatever, but like this is way more disturbing. Like, his fingers sliding around there. You're like, no. Hibiki getting stabby and slinking after us is a little more disturbing than a wraith jump scare. 5 fingers, then a wrist, then an arm. Yeah, especially the way they describe it. Like, you're like, no, it's not comfortable. Finally, long black hair and a slumped head. Entering the door in that order, I found myself frozen in complete and total terror. With only his hands and neck peeking through the door, he turned slowly to face me. Yeah, and he looks crazed. I found you. Sorry, this is the creepiest part of the whole game. Oh my god, this is disturbing. Yeah, okay. That would have been... Okay, so seriously, we're in chapter 9 now. It would have only been an extra 4 minutes, but whatever. Then we would have been almost 20 minutes over, but... It was so much better doing it in this part. Could you imagine if I left you on that? Like, and then everybody died. His eyes stared at me with a dazed yet fiery glow. I could see only his head and hands. His lips warped into a twisted smile. Why'd you lie to me? All you had to do was tell me you're here. A slumping noise accompanied Hibiki as he entered the classroom. I stifled a scream that I felt welling up from inside my throat. Stop! Hibiki immediately stopped and slunk a depressing gaze back to the hallway. I looked at Sena, who bolted into the classroom. Spacey, run! In the momentary gap to escape that Sena created for me, I flee the classroom. Stay put. I feel like we should flee the classroom. I feel like we should listen to him this time. Nope, we save file. Nope, we save file, because one of these is going to kill us. I feel like staying here is going to kill us. I don't know how. Yeah, flee. Sena's voice jolted me back to reality, pushing me forward and straight down the hall. You keep coming at me because you want me to pet you, but you bit me really hard before because you're a nasty jackass. So I don't want to pet you. And then he's like, look at me. Oh, there you go. I just gently rub my head against your hand. Oh, there you go, Mommy. Pet me. And then you're going to bite me very hard. Because you're a jerk. You're a big fat jerk. All right, fine. All right, fine. I'm going to put my hand right here to cup you. So you can snug. There you go. Boop. Ha ha ha, I poked you. Anyway. I just kept running, so I'm assuming if we stay put, we get murdered. Trying not to get caught by the presence I felt behind me, I dashed down the hallway. Finally, I can get out. Screamed, Sena, I love you! I didn't spare a moment to catch my breath and reached out to the mirror. Eh? I can't get out? The mirror looked unchanged from before, yet it unexpectedly didn't reflect my figure. Oh, that's right, he locked it down, didn't he? I wasn't thinking about that. I felt a cold and hopeless sensation when my fingertips touched the glass. What? Why? Then I sensed the presence from behind me. I have to get out of here. Spacey, it's me! Sena! What happened to Hibiki? I was able to slow him down. I think I bought us some time. How's the... The mirror's all fogged up. I can't get through. As I frustratedly slammed my hand against the mirror, Sena's face clouded over. Guess it won't be that easy to escape after all. Does that mean... Did Hibiki do something to the mirror? Yeah. For now, we should get out of here. Hibiki knows we're heading this way, and so he's bound to come looking for us here. Right, okay. We entered a library filled with countless books. They stood up like trees in a forest. Surely this place would conceal our presence. I think this will be a little better. Even if Hibiki finds us, there are enough spots to hide and escape from. It's certainly much better than a classroom. Not to mention there's a door in the back. But seeing as this is his world, that probably won't work for long. It should be enough for now. After letting out a small sigh, I leaned on one of the bookshelves, hoping it would prop me up. It was times like this where I found myself wishing I was a living ghost again. Unlike Sena and the others, I was made of flesh and blood, prone to fatigue. You must be tired. I'm sorry. I was so nervous before, my legs got tired all at once. I'm sorry. This is all my fault. I wanted to see you so badly that I called you to this place, and now all these terrible things are happening. It's not your fault. Hibiki's crazy. Sena looked at me, deeply apologetic. I simply smiled and shook my head. Also, it's not really even Hibiki's fault he's crazy. He was kidnapped. He started out in a happy life, and then everybody in his family died, and then treated him like garbage. Okay, his parents died. Then his other relatives treated him like worthless scum that was mooching off them. And then he got kidnapped, and then he hung himself to avoid getting murdered. And then he got trapped in the nether realm, but it wasn't really that. Then he got this little mirror world to hide himself so he could be alone because he's timid and afraid, but then being alone in this world with dead silence with literally nothing, not even cockroach scuttles across the floor, made him go a little cray-cray. I think he was already going a little cray-cray from, like, the whole being imprisoned and waiting for his own murder. But I don't think this helped matters. You know what I'm saying? So, you know that. So. Please don't say that. I came here of my own volition. If I wasn't able to meet you here, I'm sure I would have gotten myself wrapped up in an even more dangerous scheme to find you. I wouldn't want that. A bitter smile arose on Sena's face, and he jokingly pinched his own cheeks. I really am terrible. I know I shouldn't be happy at a time like this, but I really am glad you came to see me. But I'm also happy. I wanted to see you so badly, Sena. Scary as this may be, I'm really glad I came to see you. Hey, that's not fair. You keep doing that, you're gonna pierce my heart. Rather than talking about love, we should be focused on finding a way out of here. For a moment, my love for him nearly washed away the tension in my heart. But as Sena said, now wasn't the time to think about such things. It seems like Hibiki's doing something to the mirror, so I can't escape. I was unable to think of a good idea. Negative thoughts began to creep slowly into my mind.
When you were a living ghost, you said all this happened because a god took notice of you, right?
Yeah, that's right. It seems I was spirited away.
You became a living ghost, but managed to overcome that and return home.
Sena nodded reassuringly and continued.
Then it'll be okay this time, too. We'll get through this together and send you back.
Smiling to reassure me, Sena gently patted me on the shoulder. Of course, he didn't actually pat me. His hand just slipped through me.
Sorry. I just keep doing that.
I gently placed my palm over his, letting it hang in the air. While I couldn't feel his touch, I did feel something was conveyed between us. Sorry for being hopeless before. I won't give up, so let's find a way out of here.
I'd expect nothing less from you, Spacey. That brings me back to when you were a living ghost. When things were tough for me, no matter how many times I forgot about you, you always came and talked to me.
Yeah, I'm not good at giving up.
But your inability to give up on me is what saved me and drew me to you. The ability to accept the current circumstances and still continue to move forward. That's something I didn't have. That's why I want you to hold on to that strong heart of yours and keep living.
What are you doing, chicken butt? You're like leaning up against me, like pushing your legs on me, and like I'm poking your little chicken legs. And then you're gonna bite at me, but you're the one doing it. You're the one doing it! You're shoving your body against me! I have my hand out like this, so if you wanted to pet yourself on my fingers, and then he's like, I'm gonna try to scritch my legs, but then the way his leg is fitting, it's like going between my fingers, and I can be like, squeak, squeak, and like squish his little chicken legs. Like his little drumsticks. And then he's like, how dare you? And it's like, you're the one pushing against me like that. Sena, even if I couldn't see him, even if I couldn't hear him, whether years or even decades passed, I knew I wouldn't forget him. And years later, when I eventually died, I would remember him. My future lies not with the living, but with the one who's already passed away. Heat built up between our hands. If only, just for a moment, I could touch him. If I could see his face. If we could talk. Before coming here, that was all I thought about. But after seeing him, my desires only grew. I want to touch you, Sena. The moment those words slipped from my lips, I felt a slight tremor from in my pocket. At the same time, I felt a slight warmth emanating from my palm. The magatama's already got its power back? I quickly shoved my other hand into my pocket. It's glowing.
What's going on? I can definitely feel you now.
Pinky and pinky, index and forefinger, as if to confirm our fingertips trembled as we our fingers trembled as we intertwined them together. Then, when our fingers finally intertwined fully, I felt his heartbeat.
Is this the power of the magatama?
Yes, I think so. When I met you at the park, I thought its power was totally gone. If given time, the power should return to the stone. I think, anyway. It's because it's the power of love fuels it. It's a magical... Remember, this is the shrine of, like, love and business or something weird. You're like, those two things didn't seem to fit together. But you know what I mean? It was something about joy or love or something. And it's like, oh, love, joy. We have that for Sena, so... All it took was a little time, and the power came back to the stone, right? Okay, so again, if that's what it's going to be, like, the power fades away, but then the power comes back, and then we can see each other for a short period of time, and, like, touch each other, and we just have to use the stone, and it's like, okay. It's still bittersweet and kind of suckish, but it's better than that Hibiki ending where we saw him once, and then it was like, well, I know he's watching over me somewhere, but I can never communicate or see him. That was bullshit.
I think I was reacting to your wish. Like it was some kind of spell or something.
Again, my favorite is still the one where we died and got to be with Kureha. I'm just saying! I know, theoretically, it should not be the best ending for anybody because you died, but I'm just... Listen. Whatevs. Yeah, you might be right about that. I want to see you. I want to see your face. It would make me so relieved. I said those things at that time.
Seriously, you always...
My wish was granted by the magatama. The priest who lent the magatama told me the god at Tsukumo's shrine was one who connects people together. And the magatama is a treasure that was passed down for generations at that shrine.
Which means us being able to hold hands like this might be some kind of divine blessing. Connected hands, connected hearts. Being together what was once parted. Sounds like the power of a god.
Then in that case, maybe you could reach your fans, Sena. Maybe we could return to the real world. I don't think maybe you could reach your fans. No. I don't think about us fans. I think the return to the real world. No, it's fans! I mean, to be fair, I guess. Yes, because maybe we could return to the real world. I guess they implied that was like, yeah, you're not going to be able to drag him back to the land of the living, but... And that's really what he wants, so that's thinking of him, so it makes sense. Maybe you could reach your fans, Sena. They might be able to hear you singing.
Indeed, it's possible we might be able to do that. But there's something far more important we need to use it for now.
What's that?
If it can connect things that were separated, it may be able to connect this world and the real world.
I thought you were going to kiss me for realsies. But like, sure, connect the mirror, sure.
If so, that means you'd be able to get home.
You're right. Seeing a faint glimmer of hope, my face lit up.
It's so like you to think about me before thinking about yourself.
Well, I guess because you just told me your story, I was thinking about it, but it's not like I think about you all the time, Sena. Just, when I'm awake. I flushed as I tried to explain myself, and Sena childishly tilted his head.
You don't. I think about you, though. I love you, and I'm always thinking about you. Every day. 247.
I don't think that's exactly how the saying goes. 247. Seeing me blush, Sena giggled. So he was teasing me after all. Despite feeling a bit frustrated, I was also happy, and a smile tugged at the corner of my lips. Sena let out a huff and untangled her fingers. Don't you dare! Aw. I know she feels disappointed about it, like me. She just went, aw, and I'm like, you fucking don't.
Don't look at me like that. It'll only make it harder to say goodbye. It'd be a total waste if we used up all that thing's power just standing around holding hands.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Let's use up all of its power making out. Judging by the looks of it, I think it still has some power left since it hasn't turned black. Still, I couldn't be sure if it had enough power to help us get through the mirror. The priest said that when he was younger, he would have been able to restore its power on his own. I unfortunately don't have that kind of power, but it returned on its own.
You mean he could give it spiritual power?
Yeah, I think so. But I don't think you're able to do it unless you're a priest.
I wonder. Koyo said he could do it.
What?
You've heard about how Koyo used to stream horror games, right?
Yeah, he told me about it, and I saw it.
The reason he chose that genre is because he's always had a kind of third eye. He used to always say he could see ghosts.
Really? Well, I mean, to be fair, if he says that now, it's not a lie, but it's also because he is one. So it doesn't really count. I had no idea. I wonder if... Could that be why Koyo's able to connect the living and the dead with his Mary Mary power? Mary Mary power? He does have powers no other ghosts do.
Indeed, he seems to be some kind of psychic.
When I heard the word, I understood.
He doesn't like it when I say that. He says it makes him sound like a huckster.
That does sound like something he'd say.
But yeah, I guess Koyo does have some kind of power. It's like a presence power. Something that ties his formless spirit to this world. So a kind of spiritual power.
A presence power? As I mulled over it in my mind, I mean, because then maybe he could, keep infusing the magatama every once in a while so we could see Sena still, I soon felt another presence approach. Here's Hibiki! Is that...
Yes, Hibiki's getting closer. Conversely, I think this might be our chance. The fact that he's here means he's not in front of that mirror. The question is whether or not the mirror really will be open for us.
That was exactly it. I then felt the presence make its way to the front of the door.
Anyway, we don't have time to think about that now.
After muttering that, Sena walked away from me. Is he going to be a decoy? Before I even realized it, Sena was gone. Then I began to hear the two of them speak. Sena's holding him off for me. I have no choice but to go now. He should have said, you go and do it, Not wanting to waste the chance that Sena had created for me, I quietly slipped away in the opposite direction. I proceeded to exit silently from the door at the back of the library. Seeing as the mirror was fairly close to the library, I reached it without incident. I took the magatama from my pocket and held it in my hand. Then I gently placed my palm on the mirror. If the power is manifested from words, then please allow me to use this to return to my world. I held the stone tightly in my hand as I wished with all my might. The stone in my hand began to tremble and grow hot. I felt my hand slip gently through the mirror. I did it! My joy was short-lived as I felt my hand getting pushed back by an invisible force. What? Could it be the magatama's... Uh-oh. When I opened my hand, I saw that the stone had turned black. Ah, crap. What? Why? I itched my eye, and I have eye makeup on because I went out today. So, that was when I felt someone approaching. From the bottom of the stairs, I saw Sena. The power of the magatama, it wasn't enough.
Wait there!
Sena came running up the stairs and put his hand over the stone in my hand. What are you doing? Sena didn't answer and closed his eyes. I stared at him, not knowing what he was doing. Then my hand started to heat up, and I looked down at the stone. No way. The color of the stone is... When I looked up to face Sena, his face was contorted with pain. Sena? Something's wrong. My stomach churned with nervous anticipation, then... The stone in my hand began to emit a dim light.
Looks like I'm a little psychic, too.
Well, you're actually a spirit, so that probably doesn't hurt. I turned my attention back to him. His presence seemed weak, frail. He looked almost translucent. I was like, he definitely looks faded. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, they faded him out. If Sena keeps doing this, he'll... I immediately pulled the stone away from him. But when I did so, Sena only gave me a faint smile.
Don't look at me like that. I'm okay. Really. Once I get back, I'll just need to rest. I mean, I'm already dead. What's the worst that could possibly happen to me?
You could just cease to exist. You could just explode into nothingness and that not even crossover. Is that really true? But promise me you won't disappear. I'd never heard of a ghost disappearing. But looking at Sena in front of me, he seemed like he would fade away at any moment. Sena, answer me. Here's Hibiki. Creepy. I felt a chill run down my spine, and when I looked down the stairs, I saw Hibiki. I love that he is just creepy stalker in this. Sena stood up with his back to me, protecting me. Yeah, you see how pasty and pale and faded he is? Like, he is definitely more Oh, he is actually more translucent, because you can see the mirror through him. And I don't think we could ever see through him, even when he was being a ghost. Oh, okay, interesting. Because, you can see, his face looks one color, but if you look at the top of his forehead, so you can then now see the line of the mirror. Ooh, that's freaky. All the way through. Oh, weird. Spacey, go! Sena firmly told me to leave, and I glanced briefly back at the mirror. That place beyond the mirror, that's where I'm supposed to be. Can I really just leave Sena now? If Hibiki were to attack him, I had no doubt Sena would disappear. I can't leave him. There's no way. I walked to Sena's side and faced Hibiki in an attempt to protect him. But please, come to your senses! My arms, my legs, my whole body shook. I could barely stand, yet I refused to look away. My eyes were the only way I could show him just how serious I was.
Spacey, this isn't the time for this.
As I spoke, I turned to glance at Sena. I won't leave Sena. He's too important to me. I love him. Didn't we already tell him that we loved him multiple times before, though? When I turned my gaze back to Hibiki, he was already right in front of me. The lack of distance frightened me, but I put all my strength into focusing on him. Sena told me you want to bring us together. That was your true intention, right? Ignoring my words, Hibiki's hand continued to extend toward me. You believed in me. That's why you lent me the tools to contact the spirit board. Just then Hibiki's hand stopped short of touching me. That's why you were worried about Sena. Hibiki's eyes wavered. Like, oh look, his eyes are normal now. Because they get like tiny and glowy and now they're like normal gray eyes. I know the real Hibiki. You were thinking about us and that's why you offered to let us use your world inside the mirror. In his trembling eyes I saw flashes of the sweet boy I'd come to know. But if you still want to touch me, it's okay. Do as you like. You can take the warmth from me, but the feelings in my heart won't disappear. For Sena's sake, I'll give all I have, and still my feelings will never change. Never change. I saw a shift in Hibiki's face. His true self was starting to come back. The Hibiki I knew. I'm so sorry. Are you back? I'm so glad. Everything should be fine. I felt relieved and turned around. Just then, Sena collapsed on the spot. His presence had grown even weaker, and it seemed he would disappear at any moment. Sena? I desperately went to his side and reached out to touch him, but of course I couldn't. I squeezed the magatama in my hand harder. Please let me touch Sena. At that moment, I was able to touch Sena, and I wrapped my arms around him. Sena, hold on. What if we use the power of the magatama? I pressed the magatama against his chest. I don't need to be touched by Sena. Please, just give him back his power. But the stone didn't shine, and I got the feeling no power was returning to him. Can he not get the power back? No. What should I do? Unsure of what to do, I merely held on to Sena's upper body. I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I'm so sorry. Tears started welling up in my eyes. I'm sorry I was so selfish, trying to see you. I just couldn't handle it anymore. I knew there was no use in regretting it now. Sena, had I not fallen for you like this? Tears and emotions overflowed from within me. Why did I do this? Then, Sena let go of my body. Oh, the CG's kind of sad. He literally looks like he's dying. Again. Sena's voice whispered to me a faded no and shook his head. Then,
I'm sorry. I never wanted to make you cry. And I should have been the one to tell you. I love you.
We kind of already said I love you multiple times before, but sure, whatever. It's like a first for both of us, but we've said it multiple times, but this had all been my fault. And yet he was still thinking of my feelings. This is chapter 9, so... With a painful look still on his face, he stared at me lovingly.
I can't speak to you. I can't wipe your tears away. I can't even kiss you. Rather than endure the pain of being so close and yet so far from you.
Wait, are you saying it's okay if you disappear? As if to affirm my fears, Sena merely replied with a fleeting laugh. But his expression soon became pained again. Sena! Is he gonna die and be reborn? And like 20 years later we're gonna find him? Because like, listen, it's not the best possible ending, but it's pretty damn good, so I'll give him that. With that, Hibiki crouched down next to Sena and placed his hand on his chest. What are you doing? I'm trying to give him some of my power. I am afraid this is all I can do, however. Soon Hibiki's face distorted in pain too, just like Sena's did when putting his power into the stone. Is Hibiki trying to do the same for Sena? If so, that would only put Hibiki in danger. Hibiki, is there anything I can do? I don't care what happens to me. Hibiki began to open his mouth, but quickly stopped and pressed his lips together. He looked lost, and I knew whatever the answer was, it wouldn't be a good one. I told you already, I don't care what happens to me, so please just tell me. Hibiki still appeared uncertain of what to do, but he eventually began to speak. But please give Sena some of your power. Pour your power into him with all the feelings you have for him. Give him those feelings, the thoughts that come from your soul. My soul? I couldn't exactly understand what he meant right away, but judging from his expression and words, I had a vague idea. Thoughts from my soul. Does he mean... I gently grasped Hibiki's arm and smiled back at him. Leave the rest to me. See, she grasped Hibiki's arm. So you can touch Hibiki in this world. Like, I know, like, at the moment we could touch Sena because of the magatama, but we never wished to be able to touch Hibiki. So I think you could because it's Hibiki's world. With tears streaming down his face, Hibiki pulled himself away from Sena. Gazing at Sena, I felt my thoughts and feelings for him well up inside me. Then, are we gonna die? Are we gonna kiss him? Kiss him. Hell yeah, we do! Look at that! We're back to that CG, but now we get to kiss him. Look at that! The ghost kiss CG was better, but still. I gently pressed our lips together. If I were to convey my feelings for him from the bottom of my soul, I knew this was the only way. I could feel the heat of my body leaving me and flowing towards Sena. Convinced that my power was flowing into him, I continued to press my lips to his. I understood why Hibiki was reluctant to tell me how to bring Sena back. I felt the life in me being sucked out of my body. I'm not moaning for him. As if in answer, Sena's lips moved slightly. At the same time, I felt my body gradually going numb. Is this going to be like when we did the same thing for Kureha and we end up dead? Because I'm okay with that. I know it's sad. We died, but like, you know. Hearing the sound of my body collapse next to him, I knew my life had been spent. It sounded like we just died. As our lips slowly parted, Sena gazed at me, confused. Spacey. I'm here. Right here next to you. Once he learned the truth, I knew Sena would be upset. Also, how are we going to get my body outside the mirror so that anyone could find it and be like, oh, this poor girl collapsed and died. Now I'm just missing. It hurt my heart to think of him like that. Yet I hoped the love I poured out for him would ease his pain. This time I'd be by his side forever. We totally just died. Why do I sound happy about that? Because it's the best possible fucking ending for me is dying for my man. Not in real life or anything like that or in most games. But like dying for Hibiki, not Hibiki, for fucking Sena, fuck yeah. I would have died for Hibiki too. I'm just saying. We died for Kureha. I would have died for Hibiki. Listen, I think that that's like, okay. I get like, Kureha had the kind of bittersweety one where like we stay alive and then we're like, you know, with him. And we can at least see him. And that's kind of sad, but like, okay. And then we had the we died and we got to be with him. And that's also sad in a different way. Still my preferred ending. Hibiki didn't get that. We got I went back to life and I could pop in the mirror and hang out with him and that's cool. He actually got the better end of that deal because we could touch him in his world. I do think we can because, you know what I mean? But anyway, because his world, his rules, well, say his rules for his world, but whatever. But then the other one was like, we went back to life and we got to see him in the mirror, like, oh, I'm always watching over you, and that's it. And like, we never had any interaction with him, and that was kind of the worst of the fucking endings. So like, I kind of wish they had done what they did in other ones and like, we died and we're with him. Because then at least it would have been like, okay, at least if you're going to give me a bittersweet ending, it's, all my friends and my family are sad because I died or they never found my body and they have no idea what happened to me, but I got to be with Hibiki, not, I went back and never see him again except for like one time a year later when I graduate and maybe 10 years from now. I'm like, every once in a while because he crossed over type of bullshit. And God let him come visit me. Fuck that shit! What kind of bad ending is that? You know? I definitely think that the dying and getting to be with my lover is way better than he crossed over and I never get to see him. That sucks. You know, unless they did the he crossed over and they did like 20 years later where I'm a grown ass woman and I meet this hot 20-year-old and then I realize then I'm okay with that. Do that then. But none of that bullshit. That was Hibiki's okay ending. About a month had passed since then. After the incident, Sena regained his strength and, as expected, was upset about what I did. However, Coolio and I encouraged and supported him, preventing him from turning into a wraith. As we continued to spend our days together, Sena's spirits eventually brightened, and he seemed to accept the situation. I was worried that perhaps the shock of what had happened would erase his memory again, but thankfully that didn't happen. As for me, well, Mom, Sis, I'm heading out! I waved my hands in front of my house to see my family off to work. Since my disappearance, things from the outside appeared to go back to normal. That's true, because we had been in the hospital. It would have been so much better if my body could have been, like, if Hibiki somehow somebody could have dragged my body into the school so they would have found me dead and they would have been like, it must have been after the accident, it must have been injuries or like a head injury that we didn't know about, brain injury, whatever, and it would have been attributed to the car accident or whatever, and at least they knew what happened to me, not she was in an accident and then now she just poofed out of existence. That's worse for my family, I feel like. So that does suck for them, but I knew. When they came home alone, the two of them would often cry. I really am so sorry. When I was a living ghost, I was too scared to be near them. It was too painful. Now, however, I knew that watching their pain and grief was something I had to do. After all, this was my fault. I absent-mindedly watched the two of them leave when I heard a whimpering sound behind me. Good morning, Tonodamaru. Good morning, Sayaka. I knew that Sayaka couldn't hear me, but she looked in the direction of her dog's whimpers. She gave me a small smile. Spacey, are you there? Yes, I'm here. I'll admit I don't know what happened to you, but you're with Sena now, aren't you? Leave it to my best friend to know exactly what I'm up to. As long as you're in a place that makes you happy, I'm happy for you. Sayaka. Thank you. I am happy. Well, I have to get going. I watched her and Tonodamaru leave and then stared up at the empty sky. After that, I went on a little walk and headed to the park to wait for someone to arrive. So I'm assuming that, yeah, okay. Heavenly end, love from the soul. Spacey! Sorry, did I keep you waiting? No, I just got here, so don't worry. I smiled and shook my head. He'd arrived exactly on time for our meeting. So, have all the fans headed home today? Yep, they even offered me a bouquet today. Seems like more and more people by the day. The sightings of you on social media have increased too. Oh, he's like living his best fucking urban legend life. Over the past month, whenever I went to school, the topic of Sena had become one that never failed to excite the girls in my class. You know, there's a rumor going around that some of the fans are talking about. And they say that Sena's got a girlfriend. Huh? Sena mentioned something interesting. He said that someone posted on social media about Sena walking around with a female ghost. A female ghost? You're like, who the fuck have you been with? And he's like, it's you, idiot. Honestly, I would have never thought my love life would be a topic of gossip even after I died. Is that something to be happy about? It's kind of cute, though. They're like, Sena's got a girlfriend in the afterlife. That's adorable. Like, listen, okay? Listen. Like, if you're like somebody who's like obsessed with a celebrity or whatever, and then they die, and then you're like, oh my god, you can see sightings of their ghost in the urban legend, and you're like, god, they died so tragically, and it's kind of sad, but you're seeing, then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, their ghost was reportedly seen with another ghost, and you'd be like, that's kind of wholesome and adorable, and I'm happy they're happy in their afterlife. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta think of it from Sena fan perspective. I'm sure there's some girls, how dare this other dead bitch take my dead ghost man? I get it. Because, like, this is my dead ghost man. But you know what I mean? Like, could you imagine? You're like, oh, good for them. Aw. Especially if it was, like, a celebrity that, like Sena was so young, never had a chance to fall in love or do anything like that. And you're like, no, now he's in the afterlife and he's got a little ghost girlfriend. That's kind of sweet. It's kind of wholesome and adorable. I don't know why that touches me so much. It's because we're the ghost girlfriend, but still, the whole idea is kind of adorable. Anyway,
Of course it is. I bet it'll even make the tabloids.
that sure would be something. Ghost of Sena has ghost girlfriend. But then all of your fans are gonna hate me.
Nah, don't worry about that. Next time I bump into a psychic, I'll be sure to tell the world you're my girlfriend.
I was only kidding around, but he sounds serious, which is so adorable, and I love it so much. Oh my god, my soul. That's a joke, right? Shh, take it. Sena shook his head from side to side while letting out an audible sigh. I mean, okay. I get it, it'd be kind of embarrassing. You'd be like, oh my god, that's kind of embarrassing. But it's like, oh my god, that's kind of adorable. I'm sorry, but I'm going to put myself in this actual situation. If I were dead and dating, like, a ghost celebrity, and they were like, there's this thing, somebody saw us together, and there's sightings that my ghost is a ghost girlfriend, and it's like, whatever, and I'm going to tell a psychic about you, and like, whatever, I'd be like, that's a little embarrassing, but it's kind of cute, and I love you. Why does it make me feel so giddy? Shouldn't it make, it's adorable, stop it. I'm gonna die. I know my family, my mom and my sister and everybody are sad, but like, here's the thing. That's the reality of death. There's always going to be people that are left behind and are sad. So like, but it's also kind of like when we were making a choice, I don't want to go to Sagan University. We made Sayaka sad. Well, we can't, and our mom would have been upset. We can't make everyone happy. You have to do the things that are right for you. And I don't mean jumping in front of a bus or some shit. Like, okay, not like that. You know what I mean. But like, you have to make the choices to go to the school you want to go to, do the things that you want to do in your life that aren't always going to make everyone happy, you know? Like, I don't think my parents ever gave a fuck that I didn't want to get married and have kids. I mean, I did get married and I got divorced, but I never wanted to have kids. They weren't like, oh, what about grandkids? You're not going to give me grandkids. My parents never did that. I think my parents were like, none of our kids should have fucking kids. And then they had 5 grandkids. So, I mean, but we're still on I don't think any of my sisters should have kids. I love my nieces and nephews, don't get me wrong. But like, do I think I never expected either one. It was never, I'm the youngest, so it wasn't something I thought of. It was something that just like happened before you realize it. But it's one of those like, if you step back and think, you're like, or like, have you seen How I Met Your Mother? Like when Lily and Marshall have a baby and then Ted's all like, you'd start realizing when your friends have it, that guy has a kid, that guy's a dad, or like the crazy shit your friends do when they're younger, and then when they get older and have kids, you're like, that asshole just had kids, what the fuck? That's the same thing you do with your siblings. You're like, what the fuck? And also, here's the thing, if I decided at some point that I wanted to have kids, I know damn well everyone in my family would have been like, the fuck? Because that's just weird. I should never have had kids. I'm aware of that. Never wanted them. I wasn't that child. Like, oh, a little girl and I play house. If I wanted to play with my sisters, I wanted to play Barbies, motherfucker, okay? But like, sometimes my sister would be like, fine, we're gonna play house or whatever. And I would be so fucking pissed off about it. As like a 5-year-old. Okay, as pissed as a 5-year-old can be, just like, and my teddy bear was my baby. I hated baby dolls. I never liked baby dolls. I know I had Cabbage Patch Kids. I didn't particularly care about them. I liked Barbies. I had She-Ra dolls. I had like action figures and stuff. And my stuffies and stuff, like teddies and stuff, but I hated baby dolls. Never liked them. Was never into baby dolls. Was never into playing house or doing any of that shit. Okay? This is why I play Sims. I was into dressing up my Barbies and like putting together their houses and like taking furniture and like whatever and building their houses and shit. So that explains a lot, to be fair. Now, when you think about it. But you know what I mean? So it was like, I never had that. I did not like plan my wedding when I was like 8. You know, I never had an interest in any of that shit. So should never have had kids. But like, so my parents were never like, oh, grandkids. But even if they were, if your parents were like that and you don't want kids, you don't have to have kids just because somebody else tells you to. Because, I mean, to be fair, as a woman in society, people are telling you all the time that your life is meaningless without a husband and kids. And you're like, what the 1846 bullshit is this? You know? Like, simmer down. It's 2024. Still, as we're watching this, yes, it's still 2024. It's gonna be 2025, motherfuckers! Let's get away from the 1800s bullshit, okay? Like, you know? So, like, you have to do, things that happen to you or that choices you make are always going to make other people sad, depending on what their expectations are. So when you die, people are going to be sad. That's the nature. You know what I mean? Like, you think I'm, like, thrilled and ecstatic that my dad died? It's been a while. It's been a long time, but it still fucking sucks. I won't talk about it too much because I'll cry again right now. I'll do it. I'll do it. Don't make me, you know what I mean? Like, it never stops hurting, but you have to think there comes a point where somebody gets to the point where they're so sick or they're so old or whatever that this is better because they would just suffer longer. You know what I mean? Granted, we're a young girl, so nobody's thinking that we suffered. It's just I went missing. And that's the hard part. We disappeared and nobody knows what happened. If at least we had a body left on the stairwell, somebody dragged me out of the mirror, they would have been like, oh my God, injuries from the car accident. It would have been a tragic accident. It still would have been sad. Everyone's going to be sad. But that's just the reality of it. So, like, I don't even know what point I was trying to make. It's like, yes, I get it with these endings. It's like, oh, but you're never going to be, like, you know? Like, this is the game we set up, Dead Ghost Lover. So, yeah, I think that it should be about me as the character. The main character should be the one who's happy. Because I'm the main character, I'm going to be selfish, and me being happy is being with my dead ghost boyfriend, not worrying that my mom, my sister, and my best friend are sad. That sucks for them. It really does, and I feel for them. But, like, again, that's the nature of dying, and it's the nature of reality that we are going to do things that don't make them happy, that they'll be sad about. Not our sister. She probably would have supported us ever, and Sayaka got over it, and our mom would have eventually gotten over us not wanting to do what she wanted us to do. But, you know, I'm sorry. I'm happy being with my dead ghost boyfriend. I guess that's just my way around. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, this is the best possible ending. You know, getting to be with our dead ghost boyfriend, and I wish all of them had an ending like this. Poor Hibiki. Well, again, we lived and still got to see him one was probably his best. Yeah, he got the short end of the stick, I feel like. Kureha really did too, but, like, whatever. Sena shook his head from side to side while letting out an audible sigh.
You know, recently, Spacey, you haven't told me how much you love me. I thought some grand romantic gesture would help.
Oh, suddenly Sena pulled my hand. Are we getting our last CG? Oh, God. Sir, you can't look at me like that. Did you just push me onto the grass and roll on top of me? Because I am okay with this.
Before you became a ghost, you were always so affectionate toward me.
He stared down at me, a slightly resentful look in his eyes. I was at a total loss for words. Nobody's around. You could literally do it wherever you wanted as a ghost. That's disturbing. And kinky. Still disturbing. About that, could you imagine? Now you're going to be thinking about this. Not like, oh, when I'm a ghost, I could do it in the park where people could see me, but no one's going to see me. No, but I mean, like, you're living and you're out at a restaurant. There could be ghosts having sex on your omelet while you're eating it. You don't know. You don't know. Now you're never going to want to leave your house. You're welcome. Look, if that thought had to come into my head, it's going to come out of my mouth, and you had to be stuck with it too. Because I'm not the only one that's going to be slightly traumatized by the things my brain comes up with. It's fucking weird in here, guys.
Oh, come on. Don't tell me you were only interested in me because being in love with a ghost seemed exciting. You're gonna make me cry.
I love it. Something had occurred to me lately. I'd always thought that Sena was a calm person, but he was actually quite possessive. He warned you! Well, I guess I haven't had the chance to tell you how I feel recently. I mean, the way I feel about you, the love I have for you, that's never going to change. Because if it did, it sucks now because you're already dead, so whoops. Aw, look at his beautiful little smile.
Yes, and? Well, how about some more lovey-dovey talk?
I don't have much else to say. What exactly is it you want, Sena? What's going to make you satisfied? That is the wrong question to ask or the wrong phrasing. Because you're going to get an answer that you don't want.
That's kind of a strange question.
He has you pinned to the ground. I'm just saying. I don't think it takes a lot to figure out what he's thinking.
I mean, I'm always satisfied, and yet I always want more. No matter how much we say we love each other, no matter how much I get to touch you, it's just never enough. Always. No matter how much love you give me, I'll always want more.
You are a needy bastard, but you know what? I'm okay with it. Oh, I see. His feelings of deep love and affection made me happy. Yet I worried sometimes I couldn't communicate my feelings well enough, and that would leave him unsatisfied. Still, keeping things as they are might be for the best. After all, my feelings for him wouldn't lose to anyone. Yeah, being pinned down to the grass is sexy as shit. Love from the soul. Yeah, no, I like it. I'm happy with that. Desperate and needy. Yep. Oh, here we go. We're gonna get our little, quote.
I'm having so much fun with you in our ghost life. I don't think I'll ever be able to cross over. I want to stay like this forever. I really do love you. No, go on, tell me. Tell me your feelings for me. No matter how much you say it to me, it'll never be enough.
I wonder if if that's voiced. Someone let me know. Is that voiced? You probably already have in maybe one of the other ones when we got Kureha or whatever, but... Again! None of these have gone up yet! Don't worry, I'm going to tell you. When the first part posts and we're recording, I'll be like, I think the first part posted today. I'll let you know how fucking far ahead we are. And I'm very proud of this because we're over a month ahead right now because it is November 1st and this part's going up in the beginning of December. Like maybe the 3rd or something. I don't remember where we are. I think this is this part 30? This might be part 30. So this is the beginning of December. So I'm like in a month or more ahead technically because none of these are posted, like I said. But actually the first part should be posting in a couple of days. I think. Yeah. Actually, I don't know. Did the first part post? Because, I post up the videos for the week every Sunday in advance. But anyway, we're so far ahead, but I have to be because, Christmas is coming. And there's going to be 2 weeks of time where I can't really get any recording done due to family being here, me going to see family, all that stuff like that. So I have to make sure that we're ahead enough to be mid-January-ish so that when I can come back and get to record in January, I'm not fuck, I'm only 2 days ahead and then we're fucked. So I'm doing this for you. It also helps that all of the fucking vacation that I have stocked up at work is basically leading me to take every fucking Monday off in October and November. And once it hits December, for now, I'm kind of fucked because I only have 1 day left aside from Christmas vacation. So, and I have to record 2 weeks worth of Sims basically every fucking weekend in December to cover for, because I'll be I'll have to record 3 weeks. So it's I'm gonna have to record 2 weeks and then 2 weeks. So that's gonna be a lot. I should have saved some of my time off for December, but I was just getting so burnt out. I was like, fuck it. And then I was like, yeah, December will be fine because I'm taking half the month off. Taking the last 2 weeks of December off, but again, I can't record those days. Thanksgiving is coming though, so that's 2 fucking full days and I got nothing to do. I love Thanksgiving. I hate Thanksgiving, to be fair. I'm not a Thanksgiving person. I don't oh yeah, okay, so we're just missing that. That's true. They don't really get a lot of CGs, to be fair, in this game. 7? Yeah, there's not really a lot of CGs in this game. So, I mean, that's probably, I think, would be my only miss in this. You know what I mean? Is the fact that that's probably the low point of the game. Is the fact that there's only 7, there might be versions, but there's really only 7 CGs for each character. And sometimes games have 12, 13 or something. So I feel like we're at a half-mast here for CGs. But they've all been fucking good. I don't think we've been only this one's good, this one's not that. You know what I mean? They're all good. And they're drawn beautifully. So, oh, look at this one. I know she's crying, but it's so adorable and her hair looks so beautiful. And the way he's just looking at it, oh, and then this is sad because this is when we start to fade away. But it's so pretty. Even just like the light gleam on him, you know what I mean? Like just the way the lighting is done, it's fucking beautiful. So it does suck that there's not a lot of CGs, but I didn't feel like, I guess, yeah, if you stop and think about it, but I enjoy it so much that it didn't really occur to me now to be like, there's not a lot of CGs, to be fair. Usually you're like, where the fuck are my CGs? Come on, game, CGs, give me CGs. But like this one, I think there was a point I was like, how the fuck are we going to get CGs with Sena if we never get to see him? And then we got this one, And they did a much better job too, because I was expecting, again, oops, sorry, I skipped that too fast, him to not even be in his route half the time. And there was a big gap where he wasn't, but then we brought it back. So good for that. Her ear looks a little awkward on this one, but don't mind that. Aww. How lovely. It's precious. And then this is the best one. Although, to be fair, this one is goddamn beautiful, but it's kind of sad. But this is our, like, happiest kind of one. Yeah, I think that'd be my only criticism of the game. I mean, as we go through the routes, I'm like, I don't love this ending. I don't like this, whatever. But, like, generally, overall, it's like, if right now, 3 routes in, I'd be like, this is fucking great. This game is fucking amazing, and I love this. I love this. I'm here for this. My biggest negative would be there's really not a lot of CGs, but at the same time, I have yet to be like, oh, it's lacking CGs, and I just felt I felt that they were missing. If I stop and think back now, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, no. Huh. Because we only have 7, so obviously we're lacking in CGs, but I didn't really notice during the gameplay. I think there were times where I'm like, it's been a while since we've gotten a CG, but like, whatever. But you're going through the route and you're involved with the characters and everything that's happening, that it's not as prevalent in the front of your mind. Like, where the fuck are my CGs? Except for earlier in Sena's route. But again, that was more like, how, if we can't see Sena, are we getting CGs with him? Because we haven't had one in a while, so like, and then we got one, and then like, and then I promptly forgot about my complaint. But, yeah, so more CGs would have been better. But the ones we got are great, and there are some games where you're going through and you're like, God, it's been a long time since we've gotten a CG. Are we getting any CGs? Do we not have CGs? And where you feel that they're missing. And like, I don't feel, again, except for that one instance, but that was a totally different thought process. I don't feel like I've been playing this for 3 routes and been like, God, we're missing CGs, and like that it's taken me out of the game. Like, I only just now realize, like, well, fuck, they're kind of lacking actually in number. But what they're lacking in number, they're up there in quality. So I'll give them that. I'd rather have 7 really beautiful CGs or like well done CGs than we have 20 CGs and you're like, this one doesn't look great. They look a little awkward. That's not my favorite. I mean, So, like, out of Sena CGs, this is probably, like, yeah, that one's probably the worst. And that's not even a bad one. But that's the worst one. That's telling you how good they are. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with this. It's just, like, it's sad. You're like, oh. But, like, yeah. So, I don't know. The game gets me sometimes because it makes me mad that I can't be with my ghost boyfriend. So the endings are a little bittersweet depending on your perspective. This to me, like, again, I get it. I get where most people would be like, oh, but we left our family and friends. And like, theoretically, yes. But also, I can go, yeah, whatever, they'll be fine. Which is so douchey of me. But like, I'm here to romance hot boys, not worry about my family and friends. So I'm gonna be selfish and whorish. And it's about my hot boyfriends. And I want to be dead with my ghost boyfriends. Whatevs. If I take a step back and I let reality sink in, it's like, the reality of it is, yes, that's extremely sad, and our friends and family, and it is kind of sad for them, and so it is a little bittersweet in that respect. But I'm okay with being like, you know what, I can handle that bittersweetness because, like, I'm gonna just ignore that and be like, they'll get up, they'll move on, they'll be fine. It's fine, whatever. And me being alive and not being able to be with my boyfriend sucks, and I don't like that. So, you know, but yeah, I love this. We'll do all of Sena's other endings next time. So we'll get our godly ending, and then we have just 2 bad endings. So we'll do those, and then we'll read through and see what Otome Kitten's thoughts were on Sena. What did she feel like about him? So, wow, we finished his whole route. I don't know how many days it's been, but we finished all of Kureho's route in like 3 days. So, I think Sena's took a little bit longer than 3 days, to be fair. I think it's taken me most of this week. But because yesterday was Halloween, so I only did 1 part. I didn't really record a lot yesterday. Did I do 1? No, I did 1. Because I usually record at lunch at work. Because I work from home, so I'll record at lunch. But I knew I had to go out today, and yesterday was Halloween, so I took a shower at lunch. So I was like, okay, that's my lunchtime. And then I was like, I don't want to be recording. I don't know how early people are going to start coming around, especially if they have little kids. Like, because I think last year there might have been like, it could have been like maybe 5:30. It was still light out. Like a couple people started coming around with like their toddlers or infant kind of children, right? So I don't think anybody started coming around till after 6 this year. But I was like, well, I want to be downstairs. I don't want to be recording. So I was like, I recorded 1 part and then I just took the rest of the night off, which is unusual. But I was like, I'm far enough ahead that I think I can manage. Like, I probably could have recorded 2 parts because I sat downstairs like, what am I doing? Like, I set up sim stuff, but it's okay. But anyway, but yeah, so anyway, that's not important. We will do the rest. We'll finish up Sena next time. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.